What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Campaign Grind. I am Pedro Diaz, I am your host, and this is The Campaign Grind.
Nothing like it.
Welcome back to the Campaign Grind. Appreciate the love, I appreciate the support. Today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about the key to a successful campaign. And also, that particular key is key to a successful tenure as an elected official. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned. As always, if you have any questions whatsoever, give us a call, 1-888-688-DIAZ, 1-888-688-DIAZ. We are doing a Facebook Live, so if you're watching on Facebook, please comment below any questions you guys may have, or shoot me an email at pedro@diazcampaigns.com. So, the key to any successful campaign, all right? So we kind of broke this up into two sections. The key to a successful campaign while you're campaigning, and then the key to a successful tenure once you're an elected official. You want to know what it is?
Tell me. I know you know.
It's a joke. We've been talking about this all day today at the office. It is teamwork, all right? So the key to any successful campaign is teamwork. Once you're campaigning, you're going to be surrounding yourself by people that have or share the same interests as you, that they want to see you succeed, they want to see you do well. They may not necessarily be paid workers or anything like that. They may just be friends and family because they believe in you. So that is the key to any successful campaign, all right, especially when you're campaigning. Once you're an elected official, you're incumbent, you're running for office again, for re-election, you're still going to need to make sure that you hire the right people. You know, in the previous episode, we spoke about the different titles that your campaign should have, the different consultants, the manager, the treasurer, that your campaign must have. So if you guys haven't heard about that, check out the last episode. We talk about the important roles that your campaign needs to fill. Consultant, strategist, manager, and treasurer. So check it out in the previous episode. It's a really cool episode. But if you're running for re-election, you want to make sure that the team you put together can work together. I've been involved in several campaigns, and the number one the common denominator in every single one of those campaigns that has failed is that there was too many chefs in the kitchen and there was no teamwork. You know, us consultants, just like most people, we have our ego. We have our set way of doing things. We like doing things this particular way because it's worked for us in the past. Now, you start bringing other consultants in, other campaign managers in, other people with different ideas, and that's when all hell breaks loose, and I guarantee it's not going to work. So teamwork is the number one key, the number one recipe really to a successful campaign. Whether you're running for the first time or you're running for re-election, teamwork. Make sure that you bring on the right set of people that can work together, that complement each other, and that are not going to butt heads. And honestly, Ray is stepping on my foot. I guess he's got something to say. So, what do you got to say?
No, I was just going to say that the fact is, I believe that campaigning should start before you declare your candidacy.
Yeah.
And the fact is that, you know, at that time is when you should be seeking the advice and the recommendations of perhaps your circle of friends or future volunteers and so on and so forth. You got to coordinate that before you take off with a serious campaign or you register as a candidate. You know, it is very important that you be organized. Today, I really had a very nice experience with some of your candidate clients.
Oh yeah, we had a meeting this morning, that's right.
And the fact that one of the candidates, a very experienced in government and a professional individual and so on, who served in many important boards in this county and the city and so on, expressed his feeling and told me, you know, I wish, and I'm sorry again,
that's
because
that
strategy has to start before you start campaigning, before you declare your candidacy. And he said to me, because I spoke with him about 6 months ago, and I mentioned your name and so on, and he said to me today, I wish I had followed advice and I had met with Pedro before I started my campaign or when I started my campaigning, because I would have been much farther ahead.
Yeah.
And people don't realize the time frame, the important,
Yeah.
the schedule of
The timeline, what needs to get done, when it needs to get done, how it needs to get done.
That's so important. It's a very primary phase of your campaign, to be organized, to have your team work. You have to have, you
need to have the right team in place. When you're running for office, it's like I tell most of all our clients, a campaign is run just like a business. You need to have the CEO, the CFO, the employees, so on and so forth, the CPO, all those things. So they all need to work together for that one common goal. And in a campaign, that one common goal is to get you elected.
A lot of people get elected and then they headhunting around, trying to find individuals to feed us, take the places, in those important places within their elected office, and so on. And that's a lot of time. That is time consuming. You're going to waste 3-6 months. Just when you get elected, just trying to put your team together in the office if you haven't done it before.
I agree. And one of these things is like, once again, I tell all of our clients, once we representing you, once we're working on with your campaign, this is a marriage. To do his part. You don't just marry the first person you meet. Sometimes you do if you're like high school or middle school sweethearts or whatever. But you got to do your due diligence. You got to start interviewing different consultants and strategists and campaign managers. Try to see who's the right fit for your campaign. Remember, there's really no blueprint. There's really no science to this. This is really being able to mesh well with the person that you're working with and come up with great ideas, innovative ideas to really get the word out and make sure that the voters come out and vote for you. So do your due diligence. Don't fall in love with the first consultant you come across or the first strategist you come across, or I'm going to hire this particular consultant because he was referred to me by my cousin or my nephew or this or that or whatever.
Oh, so what you're saying is you don't believe in love at first sight.
I don't know, man. You gotta walk by me at least 2 or 3 times and then I'll notice. But going back to what I was saying, every campaign is a marriage. You can't fall in love with that first consultant you come across. You gotta do your due diligence, check their record, see exactly how they work, meet with them several times to see if you guys mesh, if you guys mix well together. If you don't, listen, at the end of the day, don't feel bad about making other people feel bad, because you're putting a lot of time, money, and effort into this campaign. And you're not in it to lose, you're in it to win. So make sure that you get a good, solid team that you can work well with to stand behind you. So that is the number one point for a successful campaign. It is teamwork. Yes, with teamwork comes strategy, comes everything else. But the number one thing is you want to make sure that there's no hostility in the room once your campaign is getting together with the volunteers, the workers, the consultants, the strategists, and so on and so forth. So try to put together a very good team that works well together for that one common goal, which is getting you elected. The number 2 thing is teamwork. Once you're an elected official, okay? Once you're an elected official, it's completely different. This is one of the reasons why we have a transition system, a transition team that we help our elected officials going from civilian to elected official. So we work with them for 2, 3, 6 months sometimes. We're not paid by the city or the government official. This is a service that we offer them on the side after we help them get elected. So the transition from a civilian to an elected official. What can be done, what you should do, how you should do it to kind of make that whole process much easier for you once you're running for re-election. We have that set in place. Once you're elected, you made a lot of campaign promises. You said you're going to do X, Y, and Z. But you're just one vote on the dais. You're going to need to work with the mayors, the commissioners, the senators, the state representatives, governor, the president, whomever, whatever seat it is you're running for. You're going to have to work with your colleagues. So you're not always going to get along with them. So you're not going to be able to kind of do your due diligence and research and meet with a whole bunch of them and say, I want to work next to you, I want to sit next to you. No, you got to deal with the cards that are dealt with, in this particular case, the other elected official. So you're going to have to kind of concede on certain things. So it's all about teamwork, like a marriage. It's a give and take relationship. So you got to make sure that you're not always going to win them. If you need something for your district, you need something for your area, you want to plant more trees, okay? Then another commissioner says, well, I'll vote yes in favor of planting more trees, but I need X amount of money from your discretionary funds or whatever to improve beautification projects within my district. So that's when the kind of give and take takes place. You're not going to win them all, but you are going to have to give and take, just like in any successful marriage.
I agree. It is so important that, getting elected is actually easier than being an elected official.
I think
Because
so.
when you're an elected official, if you don't coalition with other elected officials within, whether you're in Congress or the House or the city council or whatever, you're one vote, like you said. You can have the best projects in town. If you don't coalition with the other elected officials within your group or your colleagues, you're not going to get anything through. So you got to be prepared because when you're campaigning, a lot of time people are in different groups, but they're all running for the same council, for example.
Correct.
And then what happens is you're attacking some of these people, and all of a sudden you end up sitting at the dais next to the same guy.
That you're just throwing rocks at the other day.
Exactly. And then it's like, I'm not going to forgive you or forget you, and every time you bring something up, I'm going to vote against it.
And that happens, that happens. So it's you can't really pick and choose who you're going to sit next to. Yes, once you're an elected official, this particular person's term is up or they're running for another office, you can assist another candidate to replace him or her. But during that time, you're going to have to work with your colleagues, the ones that have been there and have gotten elected and were elected by the people to represent them. So you're going to have to deal with that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to have to do it.
Sometimes, you have districts, and sometimes you are a commissioner at large.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that you're one part of that council or that commission, but also your responsibility is to the whole city or county or whichever it is too at the same time.
Correct.
So even though you are elected for that district, you still have a responsibility to vote for everything.
Absolutely.
So what happens is you want to make sure that those very important issues for your community that you were getting elected for, whether it's a district or the county, get through. So you're going to have to make sure that you know the art of the deal, and you know how to negotiate.
Exactly.
You wade through all this bureaucracy and all these politicians and so on, that they all got their own interest, and they also being visited by other lobbyists that are pushing for their issues to get through.
For their interests.
And they might be, they might not be in agreement with what you're proposing.
I agree.
So sometimes you have to, go middle of the way.
Absolutely. Just like in any marriage.
All kinds of things.
Just like a marriage. Once you're sitting on that dais, it's going to be a give and take. You're not going to win them all. You're going to have to concede on some. But at the end of the day, you got to do it for the greater good, which is the community, which are the people that got you elected. Guys, as always, if you have any questions whatsoever, please give us a call. 1-888-688-DIAZ. 1-888-688-DIAZ. But please subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys very much for tuning into this week's episode of The Campaign Grind. Once again, 1-888-688-DIAZ if you got any questions, or shoot me an email, pedro@diazcampaigns.com. And without further ado,
get Pedro to help you strategize your campaign, and at least consult with him. Experience makes a big difference, and getting it started, organized before you start, is very important.
It is. But I'll send you the check later on this week.
Please.
Thank you guys very much for tuning into this week's episode of The Campaign Grind. Until next time, I am Pedro Diaz, signing out, and Campaign Grind out. I like that one.